I'm Akshat Malhotra. Welcome to the course on the fundamentals of personal finance. Well, if you've been watching all of these videos, by now you're all set with your savings, investments, the right money mindset, budgeting, financial planning, and even taxes. And now it's time to deep dive into mutual funds. Well, have fun watching these videos and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
In this chapter, I'm going to take you through some key terms that you'll usually come across whenever you are reading, researching, or talking about mutual funds. So let's start with the first one, the fund manager. I'm sure you all know by now what a fund manager does. A fund manager is the person, he or she, is responsible for parking all of your money into the various instruments, into the various financial instruments. That fund manager defines the objective of that mutual fund scheme. They are from the right educational background, done their studies in finance, done all their research, done all their certifications. They have the right knowledge of various asset classes, the environmental factors, the other factors, the political factors that could be that could impact taking the investment decisions. So they are the people who are basically the bus driver or the pilot who will help you park your money from point A to point B. Now, usually we get confused with these fund managers and compare them to the agents or the advisors that come to our place to sell us the mutual fund schemes. Please be careful. These are two separate people, two separate job roles. A fund manager is the person whom you will never interact with. They are the people who are sitting in the head office. They are the people who are deciding on the strategies. Whom we interact with are the sales people of that particular mutual fund company. It could be, they're called agents, they're called advisors, they're called mutual fund distributors. So those are not the fund managers. Very often I've seen people confusing between a fund manager and an agent, right? So please be sure that these are two separate entities. Moving forward, the next one is the AMC or the asset management company. Asset management company, the company who's responsible of taking care of our assets, the money that we give. This fund manager is an employee of this asset management company, a full-time employee. And thus this company has number of other functions, someone in the operations, someone in the sales, someone in the marketing, and then someone in the research side as well. And this company could be related directly to the airline. To the airline that is responsible for taking you from point A to point B, or the bus company, right? And usually what we've seen, again, people getting confused with, for example, let's say SDFC ka mutual fund, SBI mutual fund, ICICI mutual fund. So this AMC is different from the particular bank. It's a subsidiary, you could say. It's a different entity, right? Although it's under the same brand, but it's a different entity. So this AMC is responsible for making sure that all of the investors' money is safe, is invested well. Even if the fund manager changes in between, they are responsible to appoint a new fund manager. If a pilot resigns from an airline, the airline would hire a new pilot, right? But they will make sure that people reach from point A to point B. And that's exactly what an asset management company would do. The next is the NAV or the net asset value. Now, what is the net asset value? NAV is equal to total value minus expenses divided by the number of units. But before that, a very simple frame of reference would be net asset value could be related to the per kilometer charge in the terms of transport, right? Now, let's understand what this formula means. The total value, which means in total, the amount of money that the mutual fund scheme has, the people, the investors have deposited to the particular AMC. So the total value of all the money minus expenses. Now, expenses would include the salary of the fund manager, the salary of their sales team, operations teams, research team. So the overall costs that AMC has in order to run the particular mutual fund scheme. So that's the expenses divided by the number of units issued. Now, what are the number of units issued? You remember we took the example of the bakery when I was teaching you about stocks. In that case, we decided on a total of 100 units of 1000 rupees each. Similarly, when a mutual fund company is starting, they have, based on the total number of investments that are made, they usually start a mutual fund scheme with an NAV of 10 rupees, right? So let's say if somebody has deposited 1000 rupees, the NAV is 10 rupees. So 1000 divided by 10, 100 becomes the units. So number of units is nothing but basically all the money that is invested into various stocks and bonds, we divide them into small units so that that can be allocated to people. So just like, for example, let's say I deposited 5,000 rupees into a mutual fund scheme. So I wouldn't say I have 5,000 worth of that mutual fund scheme. Rather, whatever is the NAV, I'll divide 5,000 by the net asset value, say it's 10 rupees. So I would say I have 500 units of that particular mutual fund scheme. Getting my point? So it's basically dividing all the investments, all the asset classes in that mutual fund scheme, the stocks, the bonds, and dividing them into equal proportions so that these units could be distributed based on the money that the investors put in, right? So what is NAV then? NAV is the market price of all these stocks and bonds in that particular scheme divided by the number of units issued. Simple? Easy to understand? Let's go forward. Next up is the expense ratio. Whatever expenses we spoke about, again, the fund manager's salary, the salary of various employees, other operational costs, marketing costs, overall costs that the AMC is bearing in order to run that mutual fund scheme, that is called an expense ratio. The expense ratio would generally range from 0.4, 0.5% to about 1 to 2%. This means that let's say we are depositing 100 rupees into a mutual fund scheme. Out of that 100 rupees, 2 rupees, if the expense ratio is 2%, 2 rupees would be charged by the mutual fund company in order to provide me the services. That's exactly what an expense ratio is. Next is the exit load. Now, exit load is a fee that the mutual fund company puts in order to de-incentivize the investor from taking out their money in a short period of time. I'll take an example. You remember the thumb rule? For all our long-term investments, we should go towards equity, more towards equity asset classes, right? Now, let's say there is a mutual fund, which is an equity-oriented mutual fund, which means all the strategies and every decisions are taken in order to help people earn in the long term, help people earn good interest in the long term. And so, a mutual fund company might put an exit load if the people are withdrawing their money in the short period of time. Since the strategy of the mutual fund manager, the fund manager, is for the long term, they don't want people to start taking out money in the short term because that would spoil their overall strategy, right? And so let's say if there is an equity oriented mutual fund, which the mutual fund thought will start generating returns after a few years and would do great returns in the next 10 to 15 years. If a person is withdrawing, if an investor is withdrawing the money within a period of 1 year, they would put an exit load, which means a charge will be put up once the people withdraw their money. So usually what we've seen is for all these long-term horizon schemes, the exit load would be somewhere about 1 year or so. So which means if the scheme is oriented for a long-term horizon and a person is withdrawing their money within 1 year of time, they'd have to pay that extra penalty. And similarly, if it's a short-term mutual fund, 2 to 3 years, then we've seen the exit load being from 7 days to 14 days. And after that, it goes away. It's not that, even after 5 years, 10 years, if you're taking your money out, you'll have to pay some money. No. It goes away. So based on the time horizon of the scheme, the exit load ranges from 7 days to about 1 year, and then it goes away. Now, next is the lock-in period. And as I said, in general, mutual fund schemes do not come with a lock-in period, which means today you invest your money, tomorrow you can go and withdraw it. But there is one particular type of a scheme called the ELSS scheme, Equity Linked Savings Scheme. This is the scheme which we invest in, and it helps us even for tax deduction under Section 80C. So this particular scheme comes with a 3-year lock-in period, which means if I invest today, till 3 years, I cannot withdraw any money from this. And this is the only scheme in mutual funds that have a lock-in period. And finally comes the two bodies that all of us should be aware of. SEBI, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, the market regulators, the people who would take care of any grievances, any issues that you face with your investments. And secondly, the Association of Mutual Funds of India, AMFI. They are the organization or the association body that makes sure that all the AMCs follow the best practices, follow the code of conduct, and nobody is cheating on the investors. If you ever face any issues with your investments, SEBI is the body to go to. You can file a complaint, and trust me, they're doing a great job. They penalize heavily to the companies who are involved in any sort of fraudulent activities. With this, we complete this chapter. And tell me, do you currently invest into mutual funds? And if yes, what was that driving force? Who helped you make your first mutual fund investment? And how did you go about selecting the right mutual fund? See you in the next chapter. If you have any questions, please add them in the comments below, and I will make sure we answer them. Do like, share, and subscribe to this channel.